Hi, Gina. I'm so happy to see you, and I look forward to your class or your session. I look forward to your session for a Mind Awake webinar. And the title that we have is The Ground for Awakening. Can you can you tell me about your session that we'll be watching for a Mind Awake?
Sure, I'd be happy to. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the four things that are really necessary or really helpful in terms of preparing the ground for awakening. And that would be spiritual teachings, particularly teachings about the ego and how to get beyond that. And then, of course, spiritual practices and meditation, which is how to get beyond that. And then also spiritual transmission from an awakened teacher or ascended masters, because that is a time-honored tradition that many have benefited from. There is a transmission that we can ask for and receive from other dimensions. And there are teachers and who are able to be a conduit for that. And that brings forward both healing and raising of one's consciousness so that people can experience what that awake state is like. So that's a very important part of it, to be able to experience what is the alternative to the egoic state. And then, of course, the other thing that is very important in preparing the ground is emotional healing. And there are a number of different methods that are particularly helpful in preparing that ground, such as inquiry and learning to be with an emotion and inquire into it, a practice of gratitude, a practice of prayer, and also reframing, very practical methods like reframing and inner child work, and working with energy healers and other therapists. So all of these things are really important in order to be able to bring a person out of the egoic state and into that awake state, which we call presence. And so we're also going to talk about what presence is, what the awake state is like, and how to stay in that, what it takes to remain in that state, because it isn't a given once you wake up that you'll remain in it, or that you have, once you land in presence, that you'll stay there for very long. So it's all a process, and both the teachings, the healing, the transmissions, the spiritual practices and meditation are all very key in being able to shift our state of consciousness and become awake in this life, which is so important, because that's where we connect with our love and our compassion and our peace. And God knows we need that in this world. So that's the work, is we all need to wake up on the inside, raise our consciousness, and we change our personal experience of life that way, which is wonderful. It's the pathway to joy and happiness and peace and fulfillment. But it's also the way for all of humanity and for our precious earth. So I'd love it if you join me for this webinar. I think it'll be very informative and helpful for you, no matter where you're at on the spiritual path.